Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's episode with Primetime Gaming. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. Folks, we have an outstanding show for you. The next 90 minutes is going to be action-packed. The hype train has arrived. Call of Duty Black Ops is releasing this Friday. I freaking can't wait to get into it. It's the first Call of Duty that I am jumping into the multiplayer first since the Xbox had marketing during the 360. Now, obviously, you can see this is some of the beta footage. It seems to be running very well. If it starts to clip or something, then we will go into just the no gameplay. But until it does, we're gonna watch me do do some damage. But hey, Hargeet, welcome back, brother. Listen, Call of Duty in Game Pass. No one thought it could get done. It's getting done. We've actually seen advertisement for it. There's been a lot of funny stuff on online. I mean, listen, the advertising has been fast and furious. The Replacer, as you know, the actor who's been just stepping into everything. He's shown up with Shannon Sharp and posing as Fat Joe. He's showed up at the biggest sports news station in Europe. I mean, he's been here, there, and everywhere. It's been great marketing. We talked about it specifically yesterday, where I personally think that Xbox needs to rip not one page, potentially 10 or 15 pages out of Activision's playbook on how they do their advertising, because they do it to great degree. And look, we're going to get into a couple of points of contention. Obviously, over the weekend, GI.biz wrote a very scathing opinion piece that, rather it be opinionated, it was loaded with as a matter of facts. And embarrassingly enough, they got community noted on Twitter, which is always joyful for me, especially when you see people trying to, push a particular narrative. And instead of it being an opinion piece, it turns out to be a fluff piece for Sony or for PlayStation, and they got community noted. So I always enjoy that from my heart. But how you feeling, Hargeet? Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm still getting over this cold. I don't know,
Man,
my voice
dude.
is kind of coming back. I don't know if you
Okay.
heard me on Sunday. It was
Yeah, it was very
pretty
crackly,
bad.
very, very crackly.
Yeah, so voice is kind of there. I still have coughing fits every now and then, but I'm better-ish. But yeah, let's get into it.
Well, listen, we're awaiting Casante. He should be here momentarily. Again, it's just going to be the three of us as always. I had reached out to the Black Viking, but I think he was busy this evening. But again, obviously he'll have the link in his DM if he wants to pop in here. Look, let's get into some of the rhetoric with this with Call of Duty. I find it odd. You know what? Before we even get to that, I just want to kind of, and not that he needs my help. He has over 100,000 subscribers, and he's worked hard to get. I'm talking about Destin Legary of IGN. Now, again, you know how I feel about IGN. They are who we thought that they were, but I do really like Destin. I think he's a proper journalist, and I do like him as a content creator. If you don't, I'm not going to fight you on it, but I happen to really like Destin's work. Well, he did a video that I watched today regarding the GI.biz, and of course he disagreed with it. He was like, this is wrong. This makes no sense. The math ain't mathin', as the kids like to say. And obviously some of the points of contention for this opinion piece were just hogwash at best. It just was ridiculous. So what set everybody ablaze was this particular statement. Now it said, and I quote, I'm reading directly from the article. It says, depending on how the Game Pass situation shakes out, Sony could end up being the company that enjoys the most black ink on its financials from Black Ops 6, which is a bit of a bum note in what should be a triumphant moment for Xbox. And of course, that doesn't make any sense, because now when it was community noted, and I was under the impression from the court cases that it was going to return to 70-30, Hargeet, in regards to the split. Now, according to the community note, and Destin read this literally verbatim on his video, It is not 70-30. It is 80-20 as it's always been with Activision. So Microsoft as a corporation did not give them that.
Really? I thought they did. Wow. So it's still 80-20?
Yeah, it's still 80-20. Hey, okay,
Wow.
we'll get to you in a hot second. Welcome, kind sir. So yeah, so I was a little taken aback by it because, like you,
Go figure.
I was wrong.
Because I thought they were touting that they were going to give them 10% more, so Sony would be making more money.
And apparently, the community note that said that it is 80-20 split, and there's no way, just based on that math, that Sony could make more money than Xbox, because that's what they were suggesting.
Wow.
So before I give you the mic and we'll talk about this specifically, I know the math ain't math in there, Asante. How you feeling, man? Welcome back.
You got my brain hurting like right now with that question. We'll get into it, but I'm just like,
the math ain't mathing.
Even if it's 70-30, who's getting the 70 and who's getting the 30? What the hell y'all talking about? I'm sorry, never mind. I'm good, man. How y'all doing? Apologies that I'm late. I'm just like, what are these people talking about? 70% is all of a sudden less than 30? What happened? What world do I live in? Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I wonder what our educational system is like, huh?
Well, here in America, the educational system is questionable at best. Let's be for real here.
I think it's all across the West. Things are getting pretty crazy these days.
It really is.
It's all this new math, you know?
Yeah, this new math
for the new 30. Wait, what?
So look, there's a lot of angles that we can go this particular opening salvo, if you will. And look, at the end of the day, we're going to back end the conversation with where we think and what we think is going to happen with Xbox Game Pass, because I do the research, folks. I read a ton of articles to make sure that I get it right. And the one thing I can confirm is that Satya Nadella himself had confirmed that Starfield had acquired the largest amount of new subscribers for any one day on Xbox Game Pass on the launch of Starfield. Now, obviously, Starfield is a big game. Starfield is a fantastic game, regardless of what people try to tell you. But there's nothing like Call of Duty. I mean, listen, again, you can put it up against God of War. Put it up against Halo. Hell, you can put it up against a new Mario. And I'm going to tell you right now, COD is going to eat everybody's lunch. That's just the way it is. This particular COD has a lot of buzz behind it because of the Activision Blizzard King acquisition that finished last year. It is the first Call of Duty to come into a streaming service, meaning Xbox Game Pass. Hargeet, I do want to just go and say, listen, take it for what it's worth. But getting back real quick to the GI.biz article, again, I am not going to read directly from the article. I'm reading simply a headline. I will refer to some of the things that came out of Destin Legary's video, which, of course, he has confirmed that they were community noted for putting misinformation out there, which is, again, I said it in the opening, it makes me tickle pink because this is someone that was supposed to be writing an opinion piece, and it turned out to be a whole bunch of, as a matter of facts. And of course, I'll read it again, and this hurt poor Kesante's brain. Depending on how the Game Pass situation shakes out, Sony could end up being the company that enjoys the most black ink on its financials from Black Ops 6, which is a bit of a bum note in what should be a triumphant moment for Xbox. Now, of course, that is 1,000% wrong, and whether it's his or her opinion or not. I'm sorry, it's a nonsense opinion. It doesn't make any sense when you consider that, again, we all thought that it was 70-30, according to Destin Legary's new video that he released yesterday, and the actual community note that he showed in his video. It is not 70-30, Hargeet. It is 80-20. So Microsoft, as a corporation, is in fact going to make a lot of money, and just going with Game Pass alone. And again, Destin did it in his video, and he was very fair. There is a difference in tiers. And there are currently 34 plus million, but we're going to go with 34 for shits and giggles. And so 34 million that pay between $10 and $20. So he did the fair thing and he put it right in the middle and he said 16. And at $16 times 34 million people, Microsoft is making over $500,000 per month, right? So in 2 months' time, they would make over $1 billion. I think it's $1.2 billion, which we know is they spend $1 billion per year for Xbox Game Pass. That would mean that anything that was made from Xbox Game Pass would be profit. And again, I'm no mathematician, but over $500 million per month is saying that they're making a lot of money. Let's talk about Call of Duty. Let's talk about this ridiculous article and the community noted article by GameIndustry.biz.
Yeah, I mean, look. So first, the numbers thing. It's somewhere around 4 to 5 billion is what they actually make per year. We already had the 4 billion from like 2 years ago.
Yes.
Last I heard, it was about 5 billion a year they're making now.
They're projecting $5.5 billion for 2025.
So, yeah, so they're making enough. And by the way, so look, I think the problem that people run into is the assumption that for Microsoft or Xbox to win must mean the failure of PlayStation or Nintendo. And that is just frankly not the world that we live in. Okay.
Thank you,
competition does not mean that you have to wipe out your competitor. Somebody somehow takes this Sony narrative that you need to wipe out your competitor to win. That's not the case. Right. Pepsi does not have to wipe out Coca-Cola. They don't. They just have to make money. That's it. They just have to make money. If they make profits, they're good. Is there a market for them to be in? That's all that matters. And Xbox is forging their path. They make tons of revenue. They're happy making tons of revenue. They'll give you a platform if you want to be on it. They'll put their games on other platforms if you want to play them there. They don't care. They have a subscription service if you want to use it. Fair enough. Phil said they're going to make 10 to 15% of their revenue on the subscription service. They don't expect Game Pass to be their revenue. They don't. It's a service that you can use if you want. They're not making it the end-all be-all. They're already in we're not acquiring a lot more user space because that's why they're increasing prices. They're okay with where they are. They've been profitable well below where they are now in sub count, right? So it's not a problem. I don't know why it's every time, is this the end of the subscription? Is Game Pass going to die? Because this didn't, dude, they're already fine. Why are you trying to figure out Microsoft's business model when they make trillions? Just shut up and let them keep making their money. Okay. Why do we have to care? Why do we have to care? If they come out and say that it's not profitable for them, they'll tell us that. Until then, enjoy the stupid ride. Just go get your games and play them. Why do I care? This whole thing of trying to analyze Microsoft's bottom line when it's literally the company that makes the most fucking money on the why? Sorry about this word.
That's fine.
Why do I care? Why do I care? Why do I care? They literally make in profit what Sony is entire market value is. Okay, yeah. It's just a stupid comparison to make. You don't have to worry about it. Don't worry about their bottom line. They're not saying we're in dire straits. We don't know what's going to happen. They're not in that mode. They're just making like $20-30 billion in revenue. Why is that bad? Why do we care? It's okay. They're in the top 3 or 4 companies in gaming. Let it be. Why are we all... Nintendo doesn't make as much as Microsoft, right? Is everybody sitting there going, oh my God, what is Nintendo going to do? How will they survive? How? What is going to happen? Oh my God. Nobody cares. They just put out their freaking product. People buy it if they want to. Live with it. Just deal with it. This is always doom and gloom crap. Seriously.
You know what?
Who had the best showcase this year?
That would be Xbox, sir. By leaps and bounds.
Why are we worried? Why are we worried?
I'm not. That's for sure.
But they're putting their games everywhere. But the console's over.
Do I get to play it? Is it in my subscription? Oh, do I care? Let them play wherever they want. I get it in my subscription. I got it on my Xbox. I got it on my PC. I can play wherever I want. I'm happy.
Indeed.
Where's the downside to me? What's the problem? Call of Duty is owned by Xbox. Is it my freaking subscription now? I don't even have to buy it. I can just play it. That's a benefit to me. If you want to pay $70, $80, $90, $100, whatever you want to pay, have fun. Please pay. Let Microsoft make more money. I'll keep getting it on my subscription. You have fun. They're not dying. This is not the end. It doesn't matter if it sells one more subscription. It changes their metrics on what they do next. They're still fine. If it sells like 10, 20 million more subscriptions, you know what that means? They're going to go buy Take-Two. That's what that means.
Yeah,
why? Because they'll want GTA.
I keep saying that too. But
okay.
People
if it only does 2 million, they'll be like, maybe we don't need to buy more. Maybe we just sustain with what we've got. Right. We're making money. Let's make the best out of this. Right. If it does expand it a lot, then what's going to happen next? They're going to go find the next big thing. To me, the next big thing, you either buy Epic, which is Fortnite, or you buy Take-Two. So that's what they're going to do. That's the path they're on, right? So if it's significant, if it jumps by 10, 20 million, you should expect to see that kind of a thing. Otherwise, you've got a lot of games. Keep playing your games. Enjoy. It's not the end of Game Pass. Certainly not the end of Call of Duty. And no, making 20% is not more than making 80%. What the heck world are we in? What? Just really.
Look, here's the thing. First of all, I see Paris Lily in the chat, and again, sorry I missed you in LA, Paris. It would be great to have caught up. I know that we had different times for for our Indiana Jones thing. Maybe next time for sure. So I check. If you check your DM, I sent you a link if you want to just pop in, drop your bars, and bounce. But look. Like you, Hargeet, I think I get very annoyed about the whole numbers thing. I'm a consumer, right? And I do put myself on the stand almost automatically because I'm a retired consumer, which means that, yes, I have a great pension. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I worked super hard to get it. But I also, like many things in this world, it has a ceiling. And I bought personally, speak of the devil, yeah. Well, hey, Paris, what's going on, brother? How's everything? How
Good
you
evening,
feeling?
sir.
I'm so sorry I missed you, man. I was hoping to catch up with you and Danny, and I saw that Khalif was with you. It'd have been great to catch up, but again, we can't talk about it, because we're under embargo. But glad to see you here, man. Thanks for jumping in. Oh, you're on mute.
You're muted.
There we go. We'll get you back.
Oops.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry about that. You can hear me now, right?
Yes. So yes,
absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. What I was first of all, thank you for having me up real quick. What I was going to say was. Yeah, the thing we went to on Friday, Indiana Jones. I was supposed to be in your session, and then last minute they moved me to 10 o'clock. So that's why I missed you. So I didn't get to see you. Yeah.
All right, maybe next time. But it was fun. It was fun to. I met a bunch of new people I've never met before. Yeah. It was great. But listen, you said something in the chat that I think was very interesting. If you wouldn't mind repeating, because I don't know if anyone saw it. I know I saw it. That's why I invited you in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just pop in and say this really quick. It's just with the Call of Duty thing with Game Pass. I saw the same article from GameIndustry.biz, and I read it, and I saw what a few other people have said around the industry. And even on Kind of Funny, we were just talking about this the other day. Game Pass is not relying on Call of Duty. Call of Duty alone is not going to grow Game Pass. Call of Duty alone is not going to make people unsubscribe, right? Call of Duty is another cog in the wheel of an overall subscription service. So yes, it's great that it is there, but if Game Pass is going to remain what it is, continue to, and I know it's not going to grow huge. Phil has talked about this, a lot over the past couple of years, but if Game Pass is going to remain sustainable, it's about consistency. Yeah. It's about having things from their first party studios consistently in the service to keep you subscribed across multiple genres. We're starting to see that. And I know every time with Xbox is wait until next year, but I kind of do feel like we're finally here. Just look in the last few months. We got Aura, we got Age of Mythology. The Diablo expansion just came out. We're about to get Flight Sim. We're going to get Stalker 2. What am I missing? I'm missing something else. Obviously
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. You guys went to? That's right.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. Obviously, Call of Duty. Next year, we're getting Avowed. We're going to get Doom. We're going to get South of Midnight. We're going to get Fable, and who knows what else. But if they can consistently start doing this year over year, you're not going to lose the people that are already there, the 30 plus million, whatever the number is right now, right? And you're going to slowly but surely start to get more people across multiple devices. And I know the diehards don't want to hear that because they want everything to be on an Xbox. And Things have changed, in the past 8 to 9 months. We know that. So it is just the reality of what it is. But Game Pass isn't going to go anywhere for them. I mean, when you think about the legacy of Phil Spencer and everything that he's done with Xbox, Game Pass is going to be right up there at the top of the list, for better or worse. So clearly he wants his legacy to be successful, right? He wants Xbox to be successful. So I think they're going to be fine. I don't really have any major concerns about Xbox. I mean, if you're concerned that some of your favorite games are going to show up on a competitor's platform, okay, fine. But that's your personal choice. But you're also still going to get those games on an Xbox, right? They're going to continue to make Xbox hardware. You're going to get Game Pass. We see the roadmap of games. I think, Hargeet, you even just said it before I came on, who had the best showcase in 2024? It was Xbox, without a doubt. Yep. I mean, that showcase, again, I jokingly said it was a 9.5 out of 10. It turned out to be a 10 out of 10. That's how good it was. So They're fine. They're fine. They got plenty of games coming down the pipe that I think people are going to be really excited about.
Well, I mean, listen, like I said, I know that we're all in the business, quote unquote, and we obviously, a lot of us, are more in it than others. Sure, I know. I personally read a lot of articles, but from its inception or its core, if you will, I always look at what's happening as a consumer because it affects me personally.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Xbox Game Pass is the best value in gaming. Again, I don't get paid to say that. I'm just saying it as a consumer who appreciates that I didn't have to spend $100 on the Vault Edition, which I would not have done. I would have bought the regular edition to play the single player like I have always done. I just so happen to be so enveloped with this new movement system and the way that I play through the beta. I'm jumping into the actual multiplayer first. So I upgraded to the $30 edition, and I thought nothing of it because I'm playing the game inside of my service, which is now arriving for the first time ever. And I think that is massive. And again, how many new subscribers are gonna be day one for this game? And we're going to talk about in the back end, because if you remember, Satya Nadella specifically said that when Starfield released last September, it was the biggest new subscriber at any one time since the launch of Game Pass in 2017. And it's Starfield. Now, granted, I loved Starfield, and I still love it, and I'm still playing it. But this is Call of Duty, and I think that if Starfield could break records, I think that Call of Duty is gonna shatter those records. That's just my hot take on it. But definitely appreciate you popping in here for a few, Paris. Anything you want to add before we bring in Keasante?
Yeah, I do have one other thing I want to say.
Yeah, please.
And it was something you just said, Hargeet, and I don't agree with it. No more publisher acquisitions. They got to be done. This is it. It's not. I do not think it's good for the industry. I do not want to see a Take-Two or Sega get acquired. Again, this is why everything going on with Ubisoft right now has me very concerned, because I don't want Ubisoft taken off the board. I don't want them to be absorbed by Tencent or something like that, right? So I think Activision pushed it to the absolute red line for major publishers being acquired. Anything after this, be it PlayStation, Xbox, or whoever, I'm not a fan of it. I will be absolutely against it, because I think we need diversity in the industry. We've obviously seen the ripple effects, even with these acquisitions that have happened here in the short term. Bungie in disarray. Massive layoffs at Activision, massive layoffs at Bethesda. It is a part of business, and I get it, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. And I would rather see Sega and the Ubisofts of the world thrive as third parties than to get acquired by an Xbox or a PlayStation. That's just me.
I mean, listen, it's a fair opinion. Again, the one thing that happens with these big acquisitions, and it doesn't happen immediately because the acquisition has to be approved, and then the happenings, they have to happen, and then unfortunately you get redundancies, and redundancies in business means layoffs. And unfortunately, I know that it may not be affecting like me personally, but it's affecting someone. And if you are a decent human and you understand how much it is to put food on the table with a job in 2024, try doing that without one. Even if you get your package, your so-called sweetheart deal after you're laid off, because these not everything lasts forever. A lot of these layoff packages are 6 months, and I know people right now that are still looking for a job, and they've been looking for a job for over a year. So what happens then? And if you're a family man or woman, then what? And then what do you do? So
yeah,
I see your point, Paris. I definitely see your point.
Yeah. But hey, I lurk on your show a lot, just so you know, because during the day when I'm working, I got 3 screens up, and I always have one up with like Twitter or YouTube or something. So when I see you go live, I'll pop in and I listen. Because I want you to hear this directly from me. I don't want to see like I'm ever, talking behind your back, or you think I am, or anything like that. But I don't always agree. But I respect no. And I know that's fine. And I know it's fine, because that's how it should be. People should never always agree with me either. But the point I'm just bringing up that is I respect the conversations that you have, whether I agree or disagree with it, because you stay consistent with it. You're doing this every week. You do it because you love to do it.
Indeed.
Same with Kay Asante. Hargeet is on every show on planet Earth. Every time I look around, he pops up. But you guys do it because you love to do it. And I highly respect that. And that's, when I got into this way back in the day, that's the reason I got into it. So it's always great to see people that are in this for the right reasons, if you catch my drift on that. Do. And the fact that you were out here in Los Angeles last week going to, you DM me and I knew you were coming, but I was so happy that happened. And I was just talking about you the other day to someone about being at that June showcase, and I could see it. Yeah, I could see it in your face. You were happy as hell. And I loved it. And I just love that.
It's funny because, and I know I'm not saying this to be facetious. I literally, like, in the hotel room, pinched myself. Like, I'm not even joking, because I've never been flown anywhere. This is the first time it's ever happened. To be at the June showcase in the same room with so many people that I consider to be incredible parts of this community, you being one of it, Danny, his wife, many others, Khalif Adams, who I got a chance to meet, and it was so great to actually meet him in person finally. It's why we do this. And when you're able to get there, and you're with all of these amazing content creators and these people that we all listen to, it is humbling beyond words. So thank you so much for the kind words.
No, of course. And that's what it's all about. Obviously all 3 of you were out at Summer Game Fest this year, and just being able to have those private conversations. And like I said, I know the look. I know, because I had that look at one point, and it's such a great reminder to not take any of this for granted, because this shit could be gone tomorrow. Right. In these opportunities. So, I'm very happy that you're getting these opportunities, and that you're honing your craft, and you're doing your content the way that you want to do it.
Thank you.
And it's great. So, like I said, I had an opportunity, because I didn't get to see you the other day. I would have told you all this in person, but
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I just want you to know, and gentlemen, you have a great show. I will be lurking chat, because I see the comments in the chat. Don't think I don't see this stuff, but y'all have a good show. Not drop out.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to hit you in the DMs. I want to talk about Riverside. It's looking interesting. I might jump on Riverside.
I will say this publicly. Hit me in the DMs, but this is what I'll say publicly about Riverside. It's good, but it's not perfect.
Okay, none of them are.
Everywhere on some stuff.
What he's talking about is the software that we all use for our streaming. StreamYards has become.
They had me with AI generated show notes. I was like,
there you go.
Yeah, and that part does work. But what I'll say while I'm here right now, super quick, is, and we can talk more. Audio sync doesn't always work, and that can be frustrating. Where I have to now manually go back in and sync up the audio to get it right. So that can be annoying.
Okay.
Yeah. But all right, but I'll let you guys get back to it. Appreciate you having me up.
Thanks for popping in, Paris. Appreciate it.
Thank
brother.
you.
Enjoy.
Peace.
So, Kay Asante, look, again, I don't want to beat the horse. This is an article that was written. Again, it was community noted. And again, that's how you know that they got it wrong. And like I said, I've read the article twice. I also watched Destin's video twice, because like I said, I really enjoy Destin's work. I really do. And he broke it down, and he broke down the community note. He broke down some of the things that were a bit head scratching for him. and the 80-20 split being the actual number. I was wrong, and Hargeet was wrong as well. We both thought it was 70-30. It turns out that that's not in fact the case. It is remaining 80-20. So Sony's getting 20% of every Call of Duty sold, every piece of DLC purchased. Microsoft is getting 80. So there's absolutely no way in mathematical hell that somehow PlayStation is going to make more money. Now, I think, I'm only paraphrasing and trying to understand the author's article. And basically, the suggestion here, okay, was that because PlayStation has so many players, and they're not wrong. And remember that we're not just talking about the PS5 here. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will be on the PS4. And at last mark, they had nearly 118 million PlayStation 4 owners. So there are more players there. There's no doubt about it. But when you consider that even with Game Pass as a part of the conversation, people will be buying it on PC. It'll be showing up on Steam for the first time. And of course, people are still on the Xbox side going to be buying the game. There are a lot of people that don't want to quote unquote rent it. They want to own it, and that's perfectly fine. And there are a lot of people like me, and I've talked to at least half a dozen people in DMs that normally don't buy the upgraded multiplayer, portion, but because it was $30, like many games that are in Game Pass, they bought the 30. That's digital money. That's free money. I'm not being facetious. It's $30 that most people wouldn't spend. But, and this is just my mentality, not anyone else's, I didn't mind dropping the $30 because I'm getting the game in my service. Let's get your thoughts on the quote unquote the math ain't mathin'.
So honestly, it's very strange to me. Like, it's just very strange to me, because usually what gets people, what gets people hopped up or crazy about it is the fact that you'll thread the needle rhetorically in an article somewhere, and they meant A, and they say it in a kind of a way to get people hopped up and get people upset, right? I don't see any way, shape, or form where this makes any kind of logical sense. Let's assume for a moment that, right, like you guys have already described, right? It's coming to PS4, it's coming to PS5, and obviously it's also coming to Xbox and Game Pass, right? Let's assume for a moment that every single user on Xbox plays it via Game Pass, okay? Let's also assume for a moment that every user that plays it on Game Pass has a $1 deal. Obviously, that's not the case, but let's just make that assumption, right? Even if that was the case, all the PS4 players and all the PS5 players and all the Steam players and all that, the money goes to Microsoft. So in what world does it make more money for Xbox, PlayStation than it does, unless you think the monetary value is equivalent to Game Pass subs, which still makes no sense. It's like, what surprises me is, I know it's an op-ed, but usually there are editors that kind of review this part of it. Makes no logical sense at all to me. Right, like they own the content. If you buy the content, even if you get 20%, they're getting 80. If you get 30, they're getting 70. I'm sorry, but last I checked, 70 was bigger than the rest. So even if nobody at all buys it on Xbox, they are still making all of the money. They're super happy because you PlayStation folks will buy it for them, and they're making all the money. Like, this is why they put their games everywhere, to make sure you and Xbox and PC and everybody else has an opportunity to buy. So if you do buy and you don't use their subservice, how in what universe does you not using their subservice and using cash equal less money for them? It just doesn't make any mental sense to me. But yeah, I agree by and large with what Paris and what Hargeet was saying. At this point, it's additive, right? And don't get it twisted. Every time they say, "Oh, it's not going to grow this big," or we don't want it to be the biggest thing in the world, yes, they do. They want it to be the biggest thing in the world, but they're also realistic in knowing where they are today, right? They don't expect that 33 or 34 some odd million users all of a sudden turns into 110 overnight. That's not realistic, right?
Correct.
And they know that if they put their wishes and dreams on their sleeve and announce that to you all, right? And by you all, I mean us as the public. The minute that eventuality doesn't happen, because we all know it won't happen, that's unrealistic. Now it'll be the broom you used to beat them whenever possible. Oh, you said you get 110 million subscribers and you didn't. So it's in their best interest to downplay its effect. But this is Call of Duty after all, right? It is the biggest game that ever releases at all times. So yeah, if they do wake up one morning and it produces them 110 million subscribers on Game Pass, they'd be happy with that, right? It's the same thing with people go too extreme and they go, oh, they don't like console sales. Yes, they do. Of course they do.
Of course they do.
They just want a mature endpoint. If it's going to be console sales, great. If it's going to be you subscribing and playing it on freaking the Fire Stick, also great. Now, of course, the hardcore gamer will be, no, that's trash. That's trash to you, but that's still cha-ching to them. Like, you know, like that's literally, and that's why I keep saying that their barometer for success is different than our barometer for success, right? Oh, console sales are going down the drain. Yeah, but that's not the end of that's not their mark of success, right? If console sales are going down the drain and their mark of success is profit, they're still winning, right? If it's revenue, if it's monthly active users, they're still winning. They are still there. They're still doing it. The only place where, specifically with COD, where I see a very interesting juxtaposition, we'll have to wait and see when the dust settles, is how far does it tip in one direction versus another, right? How many people see the numbers and go, yo, I'd rather get a Game Pass sub for this one, right? Because then I can get the deluxe edition and it's not $110, it's maybe $30 or $40 because I already have the base game included. How many people go that route versus, nah, I'll just buy it? Because like Hargi, I think you were mentioning, that kind of postmortem will dictate certain things. Now, it doesn't mean the Game Pass is dead tomorrow. It doesn't mean that, oh, well, we've decided the next version of COD won't come to Game Pass. No, it's all going to continue to do that. But I have a feeling that how the moving and shaking happens there in that realm will determine some of the strategic moves they take with that franchise moving forward on their own platform and beyond, right? It will be interesting to see because this is that big gorilla. It is that big monster, right? If that monster really does like make a huge splash to the point where it makes those Game Pass signups for Starfield look like nothing, yeah, maybe we do start seeing them pushing bigger, badder, more bombastic fare to Game Pass because, hey, we've been able to make that work, right? Yeah. If it doesn't, and those who like it there, and still the bulk of the sales comes from sales, which it most likely will because there's far more PlayStation users than others. Indeed. Then most likely it continues to be an option, but they don't spend too much time or too much energy on, oh, we're going to use this as a method to increase Game Pass subs. They see that it may not go that way, right? But the idea that, oh, at the end of the day, this may end up being more beneficial to PlayStation than Xbox. I would love, genuinely, I'm not being facetious. I'm not trying to be cheeky about it. I would genuinely like to see somebody thread that needle and make it make sense to me, because to me, that's just like basic rudimentary failure in mathematics. I'm sorry. And for the record, I am a COD a campaign player. I'm the rare snowflake, right? I will play the campaign before I play anything else, right? And what that usually means, I have always advocated for them to split the campaign from the multiplayer, because I'll pay you the $40 for the campaign, right? I will every year, right? And I know that's never going to happen, which is fine. But because we live in a world where it's in a subservice that I already have subscribed to, I have no reason not to try the multiplayer. I have no reason, because there's no skin off my nose. I play the game. I'm excited about the game. As we saw at the June showcase, it looks super, super bombastic and cool and everything you want from a Michael Bay-esque type video game, right? Right? So once you're done with that, if it continues to thrill you and it continues to be exciting, maybe you jump into the multiplayer from time to time, right? I don't see any losses in this world at all, right? So for me, I'm good with it. I think it's exciting. Now, the thing that I want, and then I'll drop the mic, the thing that I want is I want a world where once they put all the CODs into Game Pass, I want a UI that lets me play all the campaigns.
You want a
like
Master Chief
collection.
Yes, there you go. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, look, everyone had fantastic points. Hargeet, I'm going to go right back to you because I want to talk numbers. I want to talk about Xbox Game Pass. Now, specifically, I do have one particular quote here from the article. Of course, I pulled it up to read it verbatim. And again, this is one of the points of contention, if you will, got community noted. If grabbing the launch day exclusive subscription availability for one of the industry's biggest franchise can't move the needle for Game Pass, it will raise some questions about Game Pass and its content strategy moving forward. First of all, Destin had made mention, and he used the number. I don't know where he got the number. I personally looked for it. I could not find it. He mentioned that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 cost upwards of $300 million to make. Now, okay, it cost $300 million. They're probably going to make $1 billion in the first 5 days. Honestly, that's my take. It took them, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 10 days to break $1 billion with Modern Warfare 3. It might have been 7. Again, I remember the number of 10 days. So if I got it wrong, I apologize. If I got it right, well, there you go. This is going to make $1 billion in the first 5 days. If it makes $1 billion in the first 5 days, that's just a game being sold. I don't know if that equates to a part of the upgrade, the $100 edition or the $30 edition. I would assume so, Hargeet. But this game is going to make a boatload of money. Microsoft is not going to take a bath on it. The reason why they're putting it into Xbox Game Pass is to entice new subscribers. So, of course, when we talk about new subscribers, I want to go back to the point that I made earlier. Now, this article was posted. First of all, it was written by GamesRadar.com. It was posted and written by Khan Seren, and it was published October 25th, 2023, nearly 1 year from ago. And it says Starfield's launch propelled Xbox Game Pass into setting a record for the most subscriptions added in a single day ever, meaning that since inception of the service, which launched in summer of 2017, they have not had any one time that many subscribers. So again, you keep reading, and you don't read on social media, so good on you, Hargeet, for not being a part of social media. But you do read that, the title of this may be, is it going to make or break, Game Pass if they don't succeed? They're going to succeed because people are going to want to sign up. And again, I don't know whether you saw last week, there was a very skewed take on the dollar deal is no longer available. And oh my God, listen, so what? Pay your $20 and play Call of Duty on Game Pass. And if you don't want to, then go buy the game for $76.43. That's perfectly fine. But I do want to get into the numbers. Like, I don't specifically know how many million or millions Starfield brought into Xbox Game Pass, but we do know as a confirmed fact that it did bring in the largest number of new subscribers at any one point in the service, and that's Starfield. And I'm not like being facetious. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people are not Bethesda fans like I am, like you are. That's fine. But see, Call of Duty, Hargeet, is another monster, and it is the biggest game. May not be the biggest game to you, to me, to Kay, or anybody in the chat here, but it's certainly one of the biggest franchises still to this day in gaming.
Objectively, yeah.
Biggest game. So with that said, Hargeet, what actually do you think is going to happen in regards to Xbox Game Pass and the potential of breaking the quote unquote records of the of what Starfield did last September?
Well, so I think it has a potential to increase Game Pass subs. I don't know how much. I've always held that I don't think this is to drive Game Pass subs up. I think it's to drive engagement on Xbox up. And that will potentially drive up the engagement with Game Pass simply because you're there. And you might say, well, what is this Game Pass thing I keep seeing? Maybe I'll check it out. It has the potential alone to do it. That's a possibility. I think, though, for players that switch back to Xbox, who went to PlayStation 4, for instance, and say they want to upgrade, they want to go to a Series S because it's cheaper. Let's just go to the next gen. They come back home to Xbox because now COD is back to Xbox. I think they might see that there's a Game Pass and say, well, what the heck is this thing? And maybe you get some of those people to subscribe. There is a potential, I guess, for people. I don't know how much there is for those who are just COD players. Because for you, you're just going to buy the game. Like, you're just used to it. You just buy the game.
Yeah.
You're going to say, why do I need all this extra stuff? All I do is play COD, right? I don't think you're going to care. It's those players that are like, well, these seem kind of cool. Maybe I should try that out. And hey, it's part of this subscription. Oh, it includes COD. Maybe that's kind of worth it for me to check out for a year. If it's worth it for me to go on, I'll go on, right? But I think there's a potential for that. I don't know how much. I don't think it's that high, but it is something. Again, Starfield did push it up, which is kind of interesting, right? You'd think, hey, it's a once in 8 years they put out a game. Maybe people would just go buy the game, right? They like, I don't need to. Let's go buy the game. No, they tried it. They tried Game Pass. Did they stay? I don't know. It doesn't seem to lose a lot of customers. It seems to keep growing, not as much as they want. Fair, but it didn't do what PlayStation. And I'm not trying to pick on them, but what PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, right, lost near half their customer base after they tried it for a while. And they're like, yeah, this ain't for me,
right?
And to be frank, they've actually been trying to compete ever since that happened. I've been noticing their selection going in every month has been a lot better.
It has
They've been adding a lot of games. So
awesome.
that's good. Yeah. That's good. You want them to compete. So that's good. But look, I think there'll be some bump. I don't know if it's going to be massive. I still think it's just COD. And people who play COD, that's really all they play. And they're just going to be happy to just buy it wherever they have it. And it's fine. So I think there will be a shift back to Xbox as a potential upgrade to the next gen. I think that could happen. Half the players are still on the old gen, PS4 and Xbox One.
Yep.
I think that's a potential that people might upgrade and come back here. That is a potential. And look, everybody was afraid of this. And Microsoft they had to get new experts to come in and prove to the CMA that, no, it's not going to be devastating. It's not the end of the world. And we can't possibly take it away from PlayStation. It's going to have to be there. Remember all that numbers they had to work out?
Yep.
Remember, there was fear. There was fear that it would end PlayStation, right? That's where they were, okay? Because they just own COD. They're not even saying we're taking it away. We're just going to own COD. Oh, it's going to be in the world. There's going to be some shift. I just don't know how big it is. I don't know how big it is. And I don't know if it happens in 1 year, 4 years, 5 years. I don't know. But there's a potential that over time that people just say, hey, this is Xbox. Let me just go back to Xbox. Especially if the next gen happens in a couple of years from now. You can just see kind of a natural path. Hey, I just play these kind of games. They got this new Halo coming back, man. I want to play Halo. Yeah. They got COD. Okay, cool. This
Gears.
E-Day thing looks
cool. E-Day is coming, yeah.
Why don't I just go back there? Let me go over there. That could happen, right? And I think that's the big shift. And once you're there, you might say, hey, wait, what's this Game Pass thing? Wait, all these games are in Game Pass? Oh, well, why don't I try that? Is that going to, I could just keep getting all these games and that showcase is pretty cool. I mean, all those games are in Game Pass? Wow. So, that kind of thing could happen, right? I think that's where it starts to go. Again, it could be miraculous and suddenly you get 10 million more subscribers. I don't think that happens. That's my guess. I think it's more the bringing people to Xbox. And that then enables that potential for them to say, hey, I have access to this thing. Why don't I try it? Right? I'm going to get Game Pass anyways to get core to play online. If I bump it up a bit, I get all these games too. Let me try it. Right? Just like they did with Extra and Premium. And it's up to Xbox then, just like with PlayStation, to attract you and keep you, right? If you don't put the games in there, Like, well, this ain't worth it. I'm gonna leave, right? So PlayStation Plus Extra Premium folks said, I'm out. Whereas if Xbox keeps having showcase after showcase after showcase, say, all these games coming, right? It's like, oh, cool, maybe I'll stay, right? That's kind of the thing. So that's where I see it. Now, what those numbers look like, we'll see, right? I'd be surprised if it's like 10. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 5. That's a possibility, right? So 5 million more, that's a possibility, right? It could be like it's 1. I don't know, but
yeah,
I could see something like that. 5 million.
You know what?
Maybe.
I think it's going to be very telling. I mean, there are a couple of points here that I want to make before I read some super chats and I hand the mic over to Asante. First and foremost, we are in 2024. Surprise, right? The thing that's not considered foreign to even the casual audience is what subscription services are. Like that is an everyday, daily thing that they unsubscribe and subscribe when something comes out. And obviously, back in the days, the only thing that you would subscribe to, was Netflix. Netflix was the first. It was the one that everyone was subscribed to. Well, we're in 2024, and there are a gazillion streaming services. And I'm not even going to get into what's non-content related. I'm just talking about your movies, your TVs, and your anime. There are boatloads of subscription services. Now, granted, Xbox could actually do better, and I hope that they make some big changes, because some changes were made a couple of months ago prior to the holiday season just jumping onto us. They're going to have to do a better job of selling Xbox Game Pass to people that don't know about it. I mean, again, everyone in the chat here, we have over 700 people. You guys and gals, you listen to us every day, and we are greatly appreciative of that. But you know about Game Pass. You're already here. What Xbox needs to do is try to get the normies who don't know about Xbox Game Pass, and they have not done a really great job on how to sell Xbox Game Pass. Otherwise, they'd have 50, 60, 70,000 subscribers, because they do have the content. Maybe not every game is for you. I get that. But the amount of genres that are available at your fingertips are ridiculous. But Kay, let me just catch up on these super chats here, and then we're going to bring you in. We have Coach Hooded Canuck, who's been a channel member for 9 months. So, Coach, thank you so much for the generosity. He goes on to say, "Hey, Boom, my heart is sad tonight. Tomorrow, by this time, my dog of 18 years will earn his wings to heaven. It has been a great 9 months here, Boom." Yeah, my heart goes out to you because they're not pets; they're a part of the family. And whether that be cats, whether that be dogs, whether that be goldfish, or even the family hamster, you all love and have you bring them in as a part of your family. So of course, my condolences that you have to put the dog to sleep. That is sad. But after 18 years, it's like losing a family member. So again, heart out to you, brother, and thank you so much for the continued support. I'm glad that you're enjoying yourself here. OG Frost drops a very generous $10 super chat, and he says, "I loved Destin's video. There should be more positive content like that." Actually, it's funny you say that. If you recall, towards like the end of it, he actually made mention of it, that he wants to start doing more positive Xbox content, which of course the community does need, because, and again, listen, you don't have to say that everything at Xbox is unicorns and rainbows. It's not. They make a lot of mistakes too. And on this channel, not only this channel, but of course where Hargeet goes on, even on his channel, and where he podcasts along with Asante, when Xbox makes a mistake, we give them the proper business. They don't get passes because it's our favorite platform, because no, I'm not doing that for a $3 trillion company. I'm still a consumer at my core. So glad that you are here, brother, and thank you so much for the generosity. We also have a $5 super chat from a very good friend of mine, Brett Bingham, who says this: "Not just 80% of game sales, but also microtransactions. Those pony tiers." Indeed. And that's the other thing. Look, the game is going to make a lot of money because it's a $70 game. But the truth of the matter is where they make their bread and butter is those microtransactions. And I'm not going to front. I'm not even lying. I am going to be in on this one, same way I am with Halo. Like every time there's a new season or a new operation, I keep saying season, new operation in Halo. Now, granted, I haven't played in a couple of months. Shame on me. There's been 3 that I have to catch up on. I dropped $44.99 on a bunch of the currency to buy new Spartan cores because I have a ton of them and I love it. But when, like, for instance, if the rumor is correct, and I believe it is, that Master Chief is going to be the first operator from Black Ops 6, do you know how much money that's going to make just on the fact that you're going to be able to play as 117? Like, are you freaking kidding me? Please, I throw my money at them.
That's how they'll get me in the multiplayer. That's how Fortnite got me in the multiplayer.
I bought Kratos, Indiana Jones, the Turtles. I bought, and I don't even see. That's the thing. See, I should be ashamed of myself. I don't even really play. I play Fortnite when these new character skins pop out, but I suck at it. I'm freaking. I hate that kind of multiplayer, but I still want to run around as Indiana Jones. I did, and well, here we are. I bought the damn skin. But like for instance, what got me back into multiplayer, K, on Modern Warfare 3 was Ash from Evil Dead. I bought the skin, and I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm running around as Ash Williams. This is amazing. But lastly, 80s cartoons villain drops who's been a channel member for 14 months. So thank you so much for the generosity. And of course, I love the name 80s cartoon villain. That's fantastic. He says this: I'm using my metaphor time to watch this show. Better be good. Glad I like you, Boom. Well, of course. Well, we appreciate you being here, for taking away from your metaphor time. And that game is so good. I'm playing nothing else. I started playing a little Vampire Survivors in getting myself queued up for the Castlevania crossover that's happening at the end of the month. Please, people, buy that DLC. I'm going to buy it on Switch, buy it on PlayStation, and buy it on Xbox because I want to support the dev. That guy rocks. Ponicle is freaking awesome. But Kay, let's talk numbers. Numbers is what this game is all about. Xbox is going to be making a lot of money one way or another, where people, whether they buy the game, whether they buy the $30 upgrade and spend a bunch of money on microtransactions or subscribe to Xbox Game Pass, they're making money. The question is, it's not so much the money. How much of the sub count do you think the needle is going to be moved by this? Because again, it's Call of Duty in Game Pass. Like no one thought that this was actually going to happen. And well, here we are.
So, okay. And I'll address the question directly. But let me have a little bit of I wouldn't call it a tirade. Let me have a little bit of let's take
yours, sir.
A little higher level view here, right? The issue I tend to have with this is usually it seems the wrong people frame the narrative, and then we keep going down the line of that wrong narrative, right? Like just as a quick example, if you check the chat, if you check in the panel here, right, it's all anecdotal. But if you ask yourself why you are a Game Pass subscriber, I guarantee you it's not because of AAA multiplayer like shooters. Right? I mean, I'll tell you, for me, I'm there because of interesting diversity of content, stuff I didn't know I like, and then become really awesome and addicted to it. You know, like that's why I am subscribed. And as long as they continue to give me that diversity of content, you know, and when I mean my diversity of content, a AAA game here, an indie game there, like gems, things you wouldn't know you loved until you tried it. And you're just like, wow, this is pretty awesome. That is literally why I am there. And I'll continue to be there if they keep providing that, right? And I have a feeling that a lot of people, and this is the reason why Hargeet said those numbers don't tend to go down, a lot of people are some version of me. You may be all about the indies. Some people may all be about the kid games. I'm also there because of the kid games, because you know what? Otherwise, I have to come out of the pocket for the damn Bluey game, for the damn SpongeBob SquarePants game,
or the Peppa Pig game. Which, by the way, I got 1,000 out of 1,000 achievements. I'm not ashamed.
Right?
I'm not ashamed to say that I did
no,
that.
But you know what I'm saying? Like the only when you have kids in the house, they gotta play, right? So I tell you, I watch State of Play, not State of Plays. I watch Nintendo Directs to see the next Game Pass drop. because they usually come to Game Pass, right? These are the reasons I am a Game Pass subscriber. And I say all this to say, I feel like the narrative of, oh, if Game Pass isn't successful, if Call of Duty isn't successful in Game Pass, that puts Game Pass and their strategy into question. I think that is a faulty narrative that we all take as serious and then perpetuate or adjudicate it. And I'm just like, that framing itself is wrong, because I could give like the reason why I'm excited to play Call of Duty this time around is because watching it at the June showcase, it looks like they've actually put their foot down and they've done something like really good, right? I'm usually good for the campaign and then I'm out. If you told me that Game Pass would be a Call of Duty delivery device, I could give two shits. I'm sorry, that's my one.
That's fine.
Right?
Fine.
And not every. I know a bunch of people who are big into Game Pass, and they're there. I know a bunch of females who are big into Game Pass, and they're there for the cozy games because there's a bunch of cozy games in there, or games for kids, or I have a feeling that is the reason why no matter what the moves and shakes happen in the gaming space, those numbers don't go down, because the reason that got you in there is still the reason why you're there. Right? So the idea that, if Call of Duty doesn't jump in, I won't care whether Call of Duty is there or not. If it's there, I may try it. And I suspect a lot of the people that are part of those numbers today also feel that way. So the only thing that can happen here is it going up.
Yeah.
Right? You hardcore Call of Duty fans may join us. We ain't joining y'all. We're just here. We're chilling. I'm still happy with my purchase. You know what I'm saying? So the idea that, Call of Duty is the big barometer that decides the fate of Game Pass, that is a very disingenuous, I would almost say it, and every time I say it, I got to give him credit. I got to TM him. That's almost a hooved take. Shout out to the man, Infinite Umbra. You know what I mean? It sounds like a hooved brother take. I'm sorry. Will it move the needle? I suspect it will. Because no matter what you are, whether you're a hardcore fan or whatever, you like your money. And if you don't, you're an idiot. And I don't think you work hard, make your money, and then don't like your money. You will like your money. You want to keep your money. And if you're honest with yourself, you'll probably save money by getting the base game in Game Pass and then microtransaction it up after that. Right? Because now you got more microtransaction money because you didn't put it into the game from day one. So it's up to you. Look in the mirror. Are you an idiot with money or are you smart with money? That'll determine where you play it.
No, I mean, but listen, it's a first of all, I'm gonna let you continue, but it's a phenomenal point because, again, listen, I don't have a PhD, ladies and gentlemen. I don't try to understand other people's psyches, but I'll say this just as a blanket statement: if you're getting an experience like Call of Duty Black Ops 6 in your service that you're paying $20 for, and let's call a spade a spade. I just re-upped because I had 3 months blocked that was left open. I got 3 months for $29.07. So I paid $10 a month. So I didn't pay $20 a month. So it's fine. But even if you are paying your $20 a month, and you love this game, and you love Call of Duty multiplayer way back in the days, and somehow or another, they have rekindled your excitement to being online and doing the dude bro shooter, you're going to buy the $30 upgrade because you already are getting the game for quote unquote free, as the kids are saying. And then after you buy your $30, because you didn't spend the other $76.43, you're going to be more inclined to buy other microtransactions, whether that be gun skins or actual operators, and they are still getting their quote unquote, full price for the game.
Exactly.
Because someone like me who normally would not spend money in multiplayer and on the Vault Edition have done so willingly.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying, let's expand that, is the framing sucks. Because I think Game Pass is going to expand Call of Duty more so than Call of Duty is going to expand.
Exactly. That's why I said
framing. That's the framing we should have.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying we chilling. Y'all either going to join us or you're not. Right. That's what it is. Right. Because we're not here going, one day if I keep paying, I may get Call of Duty. No. I did not subscribe to 2027 for a dream of Call of Duty one day. No, right? But for the just so we're clear here exactly how I see its value, I also subscribe to PlayStation Plus, and I see value there as well. You know why? Because even though it doesn't give you the same amount of value or the same kind of games, I love the fact that every time I hear a game that's a cool indie that I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing, it's the PlayStation Plus Game of the Month. That happened with Animal Well. That happened with Plucky Squire.
Zao.
Right?
Also
with Zao. Exactly. They are all finding their reasons to exist. And I, as the consumer, I'm like, hey, this is awesome. Right? So on the topic of Xbox Game Pass, right? It can only go up. Right? And of the Call of Duty users that I know, right? Y'all are pay pigs. Shout out to John Wolf. Self-admitted pay pig. Y'all are pay pigs, right? And that's fine. But even pay pigs don't have infinite money, right? So if you want to continue to live that pay pig life, maybe you don't spend $70 and then start pay pigging. Maybe you spend the 15 or whatever, depending on the subscription, the way you get into Game Pass. And now you have more money to turn around and do stuff like that with. That's like me signing up to like a movie subscription service. And now because I signed up to that movie subscription service, I go to the movies for free and then I always buy popcorn. If I had to pay a bunch of money to get in to watch the movie, my kids, y'all are eating popcorn before we go to the movie. But since I have a subscription tier, now we go there. Come on, kids, get some popcorn because I have extra money. It's logical. It makes absolute sense. So the whole framing of that idea of who needs what is a little bit dubious for me. But I do see, this is really exciting because I do want to see how many of the hardcore, well, I call them hardcore, but there are casual Call of Duty players, right? I want to see how many of the people who are die-hard Call of Duty players go, wow, this is pretty awesome. You know, now I don't need to like invest that much. I can only invest so much, start the game up maybe at the point where I feel like buying it. Then I get that Game Pass discount, which is also there that people forget, right? If you are part of Game Pass and you want to buy the game, now all of a sudden the game is not $70 anymore. Now the game is a little less because they give you a discount. These are all the things that are in the mix. I look forward to seeing how much of the needle it moves. I do think it will move the needle, but the idea that it lives or dies, or the Game Pass service lives or dies by Game Pass, I think is a disingenuous and a dubious argument to start with. No, that's just me.
You know, so again, this show is 90 minutes. We're going to go for about another 22 minutes, folks. I got some thoughts and theories. There was a story that broke. I do want to get you guys' hot take on it. I found the story. But you know what I'm interested, gentlemen, is to see exactly what Xbox does for the holiday. Because obviously they want to sell consoles. I understand that it's not the end-all business for specifically with Xbox like it is for PlayStation. PlayStation wants to continue to sell you the consoles. They're very old school. Same thing with Nintendo. Nintendo wants to sell 100 million Switch 2s. And I'm sure Sony's going to want to sell 100 million PS5s. There's just no, whether that's a Pro or a regular PS5, they want to get that number. They want to sell them. It's part of their overall big business. I get that. Microsoft has shed that skin of traditional, we have to sell X amount of games, we have to sell X amount of consoles to be considered this is a W or worth us being in the business, because they have opened their borders. They are having their games available to be played pretty much everywhere. And I think that's incredibly important, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that come the holiday, I'm wondering if we're going to see, and Hargeet, specifically me and you have talked about this. I want to know when we're going to see Call of Duty on the box for a Series S at $200. Like, and again, that's the thing. They don't have to give away the game. Not at all. You don't have to take a loss on the console and take a loss on the game. You don't have to do that. You can include a 30-day card of Game Pass packaged in there. Play Call of Duty today, and they'll play Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and then be like, wait a second, this Game Pass thing, $20 a month, and I got Call of Duty, I'm in. I'm wondering if that is going to happen this holiday. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that is another way to potentially shift people over to Xbox Game Pass?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's to shift them over to Xbox, period, right? And Game Pass is one thing, fair enough, but I think it's just bringing them into the ecosystem. Once you're there, you may, as I said, you might be interested in Game Pass, but bringing people over to say, hey, no, Call of Duty is it's on Xbox. Xbox is the home of Call of Duty now, and I think that's kind of important for them to kind of try to do.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I think by now, usually you've seen stuff. We're pretty close to holiday season now, right? We're what a month away from Thanksgiving. So yeah, I don't know that they're gonna do anything anymore, but because I think by now we'd have kind of heard announcements about here's the bundles that are coming, right? So again, they could surprise us, and something could still come out. But I think by now I would have expected to see some bundles, right? But let's say in a couple of weeks they do show up, with something, Black Friday deals, bundle deals, stuff like that. That'd be great. Certainly they could have discounts on the consoles. I think there's some like PlayStation discounts going on already, right? Where it's down by like $100 or something like that. They need to kind of respond, right? And the lower end, the digital PS5 is getting pretty close to the price of the Series S, and you kind of have to say, well, no, it shouldn't be there. You need to kind of make it cheaper. So I think they need to kind of get there and get you something in that 150 to 200 range. If that 512 is still around, 512 gig, yeah, they should get
drop that to $200, brother, and get it out the door.
Even lower if they can get to 150, right? They were down to like 140, 150 during some of the real sales last year. So they need to kind of come up with some pretty good aggressive pricing. I don't know. I think the new models are all cheaper, right? As far as like the die shrink has happened for them.
Yeah. They shrunk everything. The Series, because I don't know if you know who Austin Evans is. He broke both of them down. He tore them down to its core, and everything's smaller. Yeah.
So if it's the Series S that they also released, right? There's a 1 terabyte white Series S now. If that's also cheaper for them to build, yeah, cut the price, man. Like get it down there. Start to make the case for people to come over. Next gen upgrade.
Yep.
There was also the college football game, right? That was a next gen
NCAA 25. Yeah, that was
right. So
yeah.
So that might be a good way to actually, start promoting it, to say, here's a bundle of things. Has that come to Game Pass yet? It has not, right? It's probably going to be early next year.
Yeah.
But those are the kind of things they could start pushing out there to say, hey, in Game Pass, this. And, if you need a current gen console, here you go. Nice and, cheap, get in Series S. I think they need to kind of push that. We finally got numbers of like the Series X is just edging out the Series S now, right? As far as the split in the US, where it was Series S was the predominant. Now it's Series X by like 1%. But that Series S has been the thing that kept Xbox going, right? So push the price down. Like, let's get people in. The lower end price point is what people really like. I don't know how many people care about the power. A lot of people who are on console, they really just want a console to play the games. So I think that lower price point is going to attract customers. It has been up to now. So yeah, let's push that price. I hope they do bundle something with Call of Duty. I haven't seen anything, and I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
That, but especially with Black Ops 6, it's got all this buzz, all this marketing. Why the heck haven't you? And again, maybe they surprise us and they do that, right? In the next couple of weeks, something comes up. Hey, we're launching our Black Friday, Cyber Monday holiday bundle. Here it is, right? And you can pick this up, and it's going to have Call of Duty, etc. That'd be awesome. Let's get going. But it's getting pretty close, right? So let's see what they do with it. But yeah, I would love to see it. I would love to see some aggressive pricing, both Series X and Series S. They've just done the cost cutting. Let's see them take advantage of it, right? Let's get those prices down.
Well, I mean, look, the truth of the matter is that I'm sure that they have the older consoles that are sitting somewhere, right? They want to get rid of those consoles. That's considered extra, stock that they don't need to have sitting around. How you get rid of that is you drop the prices of the older consoles and you make these deals. Okay, again, it's just some context to where we think Xbox could go in order to bring in new players, to bring in new subscribers. I think the holiday bundle is coming. Now, Argeet is right. We might. Why haven't we seen it yet? My pushback, or at least my answer to what the question that is being asked by Hargeet is because they want to launch the game, just the game, right? They want to just, hey, this is the game, and again, it's just a thought and a theory. I think once this is out, October 25th has come and gone. A week goes, we get into November. I think that you start to see, because of Thanksgiving is a little bit earlier this year. It's not as late as it was the last couple of years. I think it's actually the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a little earlier than it's been the last couple of years. So they would have a couple of weeks to get it started. The buzz is still going to be around for Call of Duty. It is going to be the buzz. It's going to be the game. Now, you have a couple of other games coming out. You still have Valguard, which, of course, is the new the BioWare is coming back in a big way with Dragon Age. That looks phenomenal. I've already purchased it. You got Stalker 2 on the 20th of November. That's going to be really big. I'm hearing a lot of buzz on that. So there are a few others, but I don't think there's going to be anything as big as Call of Duty, at least in my opinion. What are your thoughts on what they should do with these bundles? Because I think it would bring people to the ecosystem. The Ruham actually said something pretty interesting before. Shout out to the Ruham, who's always here. He says, when you sell consoles, you sell ecosystems and you sell software. And I think he's 1,000% right. And again, to Hargeet's fantastic point, a lot of people don't know this. Both for Xbox and PlayStation, more than 50% of players are still on last-gen consoles. How do you bring those people in? Like, again, if you're playing on a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One X, let's just say, the Series S is a freaking big jump for you. If you're playing on those old consoles, if you could make it cheap enough, $200 out the door, and again, you don't have to give the game away. You simply just have to say, Game Pass, 30 days in the box, play Call of Duty now. That's how you get them. What are your thoughts?
But by the way, Thanksgiving is the 28th.
Okay. So it's later then. Wow. Okay. So there you go. The Black Friday.
Honestly, I feel like if you're one of those gamers that are on a PS4 or an Xbox One at this point, you are not the target audience here, right? Like you don't care about speed. You don't care about next gen graphics. All you care about is the game you love being where you are. And this won't move the needle for you because your new game you're going to love is still on the same hardware you love, right? It just is. So I do agree with you that if they make the bundles undeniable enough, that maybe they become presents, right? Because if you're getting in spitting distance of $150 with a 30-day Game Pass sub, that is a gift that grandma can give you, right? That is a gift that somebody can just throw at you, and then you go, hey, I guess I got a new console now. You know what I mean? Like if it's $300-400, that's beyond the pale. But $150, hey, now you're in stocking stuff for territory. You know, for the one that loves you. It is what it is. Honestly, I don't know. Like I do agree with you guys that there should be like. So I am convinced, and I've been asking around, and I've got no deets, but I believe, and I'm convinced that there's more to the marketing mishigas than we know. Their hands are being tied in certain ways that they're not making public, whether it be because there are certain concessions that had to be made in order to renegotiate the PlayStation deal, which I've heard, which is a viable theory. Or because the way that the ABK situation shook out, they don't really have that much capability as far as getting people to start referencing ABK games as Xbox games. One or the other. I don't have any real teeth there, and I'll keep looking until I find some. But because
there could be the FTC litigation that's still open.
Exactly. Because of the way they move or the lack thereof, even when they try really hard, it seems like they're limiting themselves in a certain way. It keeps convincing me that something's afoot that we're not aware of. The dirty little secret. They basically own Minecraft like cats are owned. They don't have any rights. All they do is just give Minecraft money, and then the game releases itself. That's one of those things we know that's like a dirty little secret. They don't have the ability to move and shake with Minecraft like you would think, because it was written like that, right? And that's been knowledge that's been floating around for a while. I suspect to a certain extent that is what's happening here as well, right? And that may be why we don't see the play it day one on Game Pass, right? That's the reason why you'll see a wrap instead of a full-fledged console, because if there's ever been a franchise that would deserve a specialty console that is sold far and wide because it will blow the doors off of wherever it would be Call of Duty. Right?
Yeah,
it is the big fish. The only other big fish is like GTA, and all those other big fishes they already own, right? We've already mentioned one of those big fish in the forms of Minecraft. So, like, if there was one to really warrant going all out, it's this one, and they're not. So that tells me maybe the one that's directly close to after the purchase was made, their hands are a bit more tied, and you might see more freedom in the next iteration. Well, there's something going on there. But I wholeheartedly do agree that if nothing else, because we've had this conversation before, people go, oh, they don't really care about selling consoles. Yes, they do.
of course.
They do. 100% they do. Right now, do they care about selling consoles as much as Nintendo and PlayStation do? Of course not, because I consider them, and it is widely now known as endpoints. Right, the entry point by which you are able to play their games. Consoles are not just one of many, right? Whereas if you look at the other side, or you look at other platforms, the only way to get in the door is through the console, right? And because of that, that is their bread and butter. That is the beginning and end. That is the means to an end. Right now, Xbox, although the numbers are lopsided, still towards console, they no longer have that as the only means to an end. And possibly, if you combine PC users, you combine cloud-only users, which I suspect is a small amount, but still, if you combine all the other ways that they have endpoints, it might equal the same amount of money as a console. Who knows, right? If you combine the other pies, they might be as equal as this pie, right? We don't know that, but I still do think that in an ideal world where they have all the agency and all the capabilities that they want, I really bet that they would release we would have seen a Call of Duty bundled console by now, right? Or hey, who knows? Maybe as Boom is talking about right now, they want the games to release on their own as their own entities, and then come Black Friday, you see a stock Xbox with a wrap included,
yes,
right? And the specialty controller, and it's 30 days Game Pass. Now you got yourself a bundle, right? It could happen. We put it into the universe. Hey, Xbox, why is it that you guys don't have a bundle with a controller, a Fire Stick, and a 30-day Game Pass? A week later, what do we get? We got exactly.
They got it.
So, even though we don't have the specialty consoles, I'll put it out here. If nothing else, I want to see a Series X or S, well, probably the X, with a wrap included, and a specialty controller. We've seen already the Call of Duty specialty controllers, and 30 days ago.
By the way, I bought both. I'm not going to front.
Of course, absolutely.
I bought the regular one and the Elite. God damn it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as you should, being the fan that you are. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I honestly think that when people see them not going all out in that way with their marketing or with the bundling or something like that, I honestly don't. I don't think that people are like, oh, they're just getting up out of bed going, I don't feel like it. I think there's more afoot here that they just cannot tell you. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Listen, great points from everybody. Again, shout out to Lax in the chat. So Thanksgiving is on the 28th. Thank you. And of course, appreciate Hargeet with the correction. I thought it was earlier. Well, there you go. I got it wrong. So such is life. But listen, that means it's later. And that what that does ultimately do for me is that means that Black Friday is the 29th. At least I know that now. And that means also, Hargeet, that they could have something getting ready to be dropped, because the 25th is obvious. They have some time. They definitely have some time. They definitely have some stock of the 512s, of the old launch Xbox Series X consoles that they want to get rid of. They want to get rid of the older stock because they have the newer stock that they made. And well, here there's an opportunity to then sell that at a discount. And then, of course, they don't have to give the entire game away. They can simply just give you a 30-day pass in Xbox Game Pass. You play like, wow, it's got Call of Duty. They're going to be advertising Indiana Jones soon. You're going to be advertising Stalker 2. And you're going to be like, wow, look at all these games. Because remember, a lot of 360 players left Xbox to go to the PS4 for two reasons: price and power. Remember 1080p versus 900p. Obviously, they use that gist as a winning banner for them. They also did that. This is how you share games. They literally won a generation with that. And the truth of the matter is that PlayStation 4 became the more popular console. And there are a lot of old Xbox players that played during the Dude Bro era on the 360. They could come back. You got Gears coming back. You got Halo coming back at some point. And now they own Call of Duty. So it is definitely one of those winner, chicken dinner potential moments. But we will certainly see. Let me just make sure I'm caught up on Super Chats, and I certainly am. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here on Primetime Gaming. 90 minutes. Today was an all Call of Duty conversation simply because, well, it's the biggest game in gaming. It's coming out this Friday. I'll be talking about it for the next couple of shows because I'm going to be doing my show tomorrow with C Money and, of course, Breakfast with Boom on Friday. The minute Breakfast with Boom is done, if Call of Duty is available, let's play. I'm gonna have my until 3:30. I'm the communities. You can use me as you want. Boys, no Diddy. I'm gonna be playing Call of Duty.
Oil down, sir.
Yeah, I know. I got the baby oil already. Let's go.
No, calm down, sir. Calm down. What are we doing?
So I'm gonna be jumping on.
No party like a Diddy party. So
yeah, that's what's up.
No, what are we doing?
Oh my God. Off the rails, ladies and gentlemen. Off the rails. Listen, let's get everyone out of here. We'll start first with Hargeet. Now, Hargeet, I don't know if you're doing a show tonight with Fonz. If you are, that's going to be an hour and a half from now, so 90 minutes.
It's a little earlier. We're actually going to kick it off at supposedly 9:20, so about an hour from now.
Okay, so an hour. So obviously, if you want to continue listening to two great guys, check out Fonz's show on his YouTube channel along with Hargeet. Hargeet, listen, we can't find you on social media, and you know what? You're better for it. But we can find you on the Discord. We can find you on Xbox. And of course, if you want to buy his book, which is right behind him, called Emergence, you should do that. If you want to check out and subscribe to his YouTube channel, which you should, you can do that. All of his information is in the show notes. You do just a couple of clicks, you get it, you're there, you subscribe, you buy the book. Hargeet, sell the brand. Where can people not find you on social media, but more importantly, buy your book and check out and subscribe to your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is Hargeet Johnny 1 if you want to subscribe. And then if you want to pick up my book, a sci-fi novel called Emergence, you can check it out at shop.johnny.us. And we'll be on. Hopefully, it's about. It was supposed to be 9 o'clock, now 9:20. We were trying to do it earlier, so in about an hour-ish, we'll start on Vaughn's Gaming's channel, GameStock Live. So check that out. And then I'll be on with C Money and Doodle on Friday at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time for a night shift. So check that out.
Nice. Well, appreciate you being here as always. Appreciate the knowledge. And of course, Kay Asante, this Saturday, you're going to be back. The dynamic duo known as Kay Asante and, of course, Everborn Saga, who did a very successful tour during New York Comic Con this past weekend. You guys will be back at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's talk about it, brother. Where can people subscribe to your YouTube channel? Check you guys out on Saturday, and more importantly, follow you on social media.
Well, I will first and foremost say thank you to everybody that is here. You know I love you guys, because if I wasn't here right now doing this, I'd be playing the new VR game, Batman Arkham Shadow, which I'll be doing right now.
Reviews.
Right after my VR headset's literally right next to me. I'm waiting for the show to end so I can put it on my face. So that's what it is. I love being here with you guys, and I can't wait to play that game. But as you say, this weekend, myself, Mr. Everborn Saga, we'll be talking games. I'll be talking about indie games I've been playing, this and that. I'll give you a pro tip right now. There's a game that every time I say its name, I have to say pause, but it's an awesome game. If you like Contra, it's the same kind of game. It's really, really cool. I'm going to talk more about it this weekend. It's called Iron Meat. Pause. I'm sorry. Anyway, we'll be talking more about that this weekend. It's really fun. It's basically a Contra-like, and I've been like having a crazy time with that game. I've been really enjoying myself. So
where's it available? Steam.
It's everywhere. It's available It's even available on the Switch. It's awesome. It's a great game. Like it harkens back to that old school Nintendo energy, and it's made by a small team, Indie Fair. It's really cool, and I think more people should be paying attention to it. So I'll play some videos. I'll talk about it, give you my reasons why I love it so much. But yeah, come check us out, the Gaming Circle Podcast. You can find that in your search field on YouTube. Heck, just go to thegamingcircle.com, where it will also be live streamed on the front page. That is thegamingcircle.com. That is our venture to write some long form material. Check out the blog section there as well. On the channel, myself and Mr. Everborn Saga on Saturdays do GCP, and then on Mondays, John Wolf and I will do more PC gaming talk, handheld talk, that kind of stuff in the Gamers Playground. So appreciate y'all for being here, and hopefully come check us out, and we'll see you next week.
Nice. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's new episode of Primetime Gaming. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. To hit the like button, and more importantly, if you're feeling a little extra generous, you can share this on social media and let people know about this particular show that happens Wednesday evenings, every Wednesday consistently. And of course, Double Barrel Gaming, where we stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. All great content. We have a lot of laughs, a lot of different guests, a lot of great panel members with their own YouTube channels. And we never sell you on hate. We don't hate monger for clicks, likes, or subs. And hopefully you enjoyed yourself. To hit that like button before you get out of here. And of course, a big thank you to all of the channel memberships that continue to power the show financially, as well as all of the super chats that come in each and every time we do these live shows. Mrs. Boom and I truly appreciate it. And I will close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends.